Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Empire Total War with the American Revolutionary mod, and we're playing as the Americans, the colonists. So, last time around we managed to gather some more territory, if I recall correctly. We were able to take Arcadia. I can't remember, we didn't have that much of a battle, did we? The enemy mostly ran before us, and it was, as we've seen before, quite easy. That is going to change in this episode. Also, our navy moved out and took out the navy that the small navy group that the British had outside of Newfoundland, and the idea is to invade there. But we have had some developments since last time. As I said, I was going to make it more difficult for myself. And so we've gone ahead and reduced a lot of the trade income because I have gone ahead and declared war on quite a few nations that I was trading with before. So I decided to declare war on the United Provinces because they are allied with the British. I also decided to attack the Cherokee nations and the Iroquois Confederacy, as they are both allied with the British, meaning that I'm only trading with my allies, the Spanish and the French, which have reduced my income a little bit. I can't exactly remember how much I made before, in sort of the per turn income. I think it was I think I've lost about 3,000. I can't exactly remember, so it's not that much. But I think adding on those enemies, so adding on 3 enemy nations, is probably gonna increase the difficulty a little bit. I also decided to give away a large amount of funds and all technologies I had at that point to Great Britain. So I actually had quite the great advantage over Great Britain in technology. Now it's the other way around, which I think is more fitting, since we're the rebel nation. So I gave them about 10,000 gold, and then I gave them, I think I gave them a ring bayonet. I know I gave them, and I gave them canister shot. I probably give them square formation as well. For some reason they had none of this. And I think I also give them empiricism. And now they're actually a little bit ahead of me because they've got the naval shore facilities. I'm not really going that route myself. And with that also we have 3 British forces, which we should be concerned about. We'll start from the lowest threat to the biggest one. And it all goes from the north to the south. And we're going to start off with this one. So, the force, part of the force I think that was moving down here, but it looks like also they've recruited troops from Quebec, which are probably moving to either go for Maine or probably towards Arcadia. So they have Light Dragoons, 33rd Regiment of Foot Grenadiers. They have a German Grenadier Regiment, or a Hessian Grenadier Regiment, 2 normal British line, no, actually 1 normal British line, and then Royal American Regiment, which is a militia regiment. They've got 1 6-pounder and 1 12-pounder, and then they've got the general. So that threat is coming over here. How am I going to counter that? If they're going for Maine, then my force, now stationed in Boston under the command of Bennett Fox, is well within reach to move up to Falmouth, Maine, to defend that. Plus there's also a small garrison already there. In case they're marching toward Arcadia and Fort Nashwauk, then I can board my ships here, and we can quickly move to Eastport, the fishing port right there, and we can disembark and quickly move into there. So say if we see that they're going straight towards here, then I obviously won't be able to get there first. So then, to be able to get to here in one turn, I can use the navy to get there. The idea, of course, was that I was going to use this army to attack Newfoundland, and then later on up here in the north. So remove that from kind of, well, as a threat. And also income base for the enemy. Then we've got the second threat, which, I mean, I was already marching here, but we actually have quite the force meeting up with us here as George Washington is marching through the wilderness towards the Iroquois territory of Cayunga, is the city called. And they have the Black Watch. They have, let's see, they have 3 British Line regiments. Then they have North Carolina Riflemen, which is 2 militia units. And then they have Lord Dunmore's Ethiopian regiments, which is 2 militias. Quite interesting. So I imagine these are actually black infantry. You can't tell. I'm zooming in really close for myself. Kind of looks like they have, what are those, like Halloween pumpkins on their heads. They have a 6-pounder gun, Queen's Range Hussars, so light hussar troop, and then 2 generals. So Washington is a bit outgunned there, but I think we can still probably prevail. I want to keep up the momentum. Then the biggest threat is this one here. So we had seen for a very long time that the British were gathering their forces down in the south, moving up, and they have brought up quite the host. They've bypassed Annapolis, Maryland, so they didn't take the state from us. Instead, they marched past it, and they set up in Baltimore instead, and they made camp there with quite a sizable force. So 4 units of light hussar, 1 unit of light infantry, then there's 4 regiments of British infantry, and then there's 2 King's Royal Regiment, and then a load of 6-pounder cannons, so 3 batteries. So the real, I think, difficulty right now, since the British infantry only fires first rank because of technology, so a lot of these units are not going to be that difficult. The difficult thing would be, I just noticed they have a hell of a lot of melee defense. 16 seems like that actually is a statistic that has been tampered with. So they can, melee attack is quite low. 6, that's really low actually. I'm not entirely sure of why that is. Maybe it is to make the fights longer, I'm not entirely sure. And then the 6-pounders. I also noticed that the 6-pounders have been tampered a little bit with compared to the normal, so they have a very high morale compared to everyone else. Where British Line has 8. Seems like that's highest. The generals have 11. The cannons have 12. We kind of noticed this in an earlier battle where I bombarded it, 1 battery, until there was like 3 people left actually manning it. And also the accuracy. Notice the accuracy. It's 90. That is kind of an insane amount of accuracy. But I also kind of note that because at extreme range, my battery, I think in the first battle, my battery is at extreme range from the enemy battery. Still, I was able to land those devastating shots on the enemy battery and completely blow it apart. And I destroyed a number of their artillery pieces. So that's going to be difficult. Our force meeting up with them is under Nathaniel Greene. So we've got 2 12-pounder guns, 2 batteries. So you'd imagine they were going to beat the 6-pounders. The thing is, the accuracy of the 12-pounders is 45, range is 800. For the 6-pounders, the range is also 800. So the thing is, the 12-pounders don't outreach the 6-pounders. They just have worse accuracy, about half. And then what's worse, it's cut in like down to 25% of their morale, because the enemy has 12 and my 12-pounders have 3. Basically, if a British person waved at them, they would run away. I mean, there's no other unit that comes close to just 3 in morale. So I'm not entirely sure what's up with that. Why colonial 12-pounder guns are such cowards. Anyways, that was a lot of talking and explaining and stuff, so I hope you can bear with me. I know a lot of people just come for the battles. What we're going to do today is we're going to take George Washington and we're going to fight this one. So I'm going to save the worst battle, which might actually be a defeat. I am going to attack out. I'm not going to... I mean, the best thing would be to hold up in the fort, but fort battles in empires are horrible, so... we're gonna go bold, and we're gonna strike at the British. We're gonna start with George Washington. So he doesn't reach because he's got the Indian and that colonial militia that he picked up from this place is dragging his army down. So we're gonna have put them there. So they're gonna replenish, and I think just because there's so many British troops here, I want to bring in this one as well. So we're gonna bring him up, and he's gonna join here, and hopefully we'll bring these 3 in as reinforcements to George Washington, and then he will be able to attack. Oh, and they intercept us. We have 1,700 men against the British 2,400 under the command of Elliot Burke. So quite a hard battle here. I do think we will win just on the fact that it's kind of broken that we are able to fire every single gun in our unit, while the British only fire first rank. That's gonna change, of course, when we get to the point where we develop fire by rank. But at this point, I'm pretty confident of victory. With that said, let's draw into battle. Washington, having word from his scouts, realized that the British were pressing forward with their greater number. So he took a step back and took position on this high hill overlooking a small town. We can see the British position down before us within this red square. We hold an L shape along here. And I've decided to hold up on the hill because, well, the high ground. Important thing about placing artillery is, of course, that you don't want any dead ground in front of them. Like, if I had posted the cannons higher up on the hill, then there would be dead ground up until a certain point here, where the cannons wouldn't fire. So if you imagine if I'd put the cannons further up the hill, then there would be an area here with dead ground where the British could hide and then prepare to do their charge uphill without constantly taking fire from the artillery. Anyways, we're gonna wait here for the reinforcement to arrive. We have some stragglers, 3 units. They're gonna come in from somewhere behind us, I hope. So maybe up here would be the obvious, or would be the best option. So we're gonna wait for them to kind of equalize our forces, put the Moylan Dragoons over here in the flank, and with that said, let's go ahead and start. So I'm getting my reinforcements, and they're gonna turn up from over here, right? Not too bad, still it might take some time for them to get here. Hopefully though, my cannons will make short work of the British cannons. And that's kind of gonna... Well, maybe not actually. Because... Oh, here's the Ethiopian infantry. So they are actually black. I thought maybe you could think that, oh, the unit was kind of, you know, not maybe like an ironic name, but maybe it would be... Okay, we just shot down 2 of their cannons. And we've got the Queen's Rangers. I certainly do not want to lose my artillery. Are we shooting each other? No, we are not. Right, they're passing close by. I guess they're going for our Dragoons. And then we're gonna hold fire. So we took out 2 of their guns pretty quickly, which should see their army moving against us. Queen's Hussars are retreating, and now these 3 are coming. And they're gonna move into position right here. We've seen how these guys look. But we've got some new units coming in here. We've got the Cannoli Militia from New Jersey. Give me a cannoli! What up? Right. The Colonial Militia. I don't think we've seen them before. Then we've got the Connecticut Infantry, which is coming up here. And then our Native Americans. Right. Oh, the British are making another attempt at charging the hill. Switch to canister and aim. Okay, so they're gonna pass by just like the others, and we're gonna release yet another volley, which is super devastating. I'm not entirely sure why they decide to do the same failed charge twice. Move like so in front of us, and then pass towards the Moyland Dragoons. The British have yet to kind of realize the fact that they're outgunned. Normally, the AI decides to go ahead and attack you as soon as they run out of... You know what? Every time I click on my cannons to attack the enemy cannons, they send forwards their cavalry, which is perfect. I'm gonna tell them to hold fire, and we're gonna pick target as well. Okay, so as soon as I did that, they switched to retreating back. Right, we want to kill off those 2 last guns. We're probably gonna hit quite a lot of other units as we go through. Damn, I do love redcoats. So these are the North Carolina Riflemen. Don't think they carry rifles though. North Carolina Rifle, British Line. There's a lot of them. Lord Dunmore's Ethiopians. And where do we have the Scots then? There, the Black Watch. The Highland Regiment. Coming through the town. With the Highland Bonnet. Right, the British regiments are lining up. Carolina Riflemen are I think they're kind of militia tier units. And the Ethiopians, so we got 3 weak units coming up through the center. We got 2 British line, 2 British line, and then I think Black Watch could be probably described as an elite unit. They've got 1 cannon left. So we should be soon thinking about holding fire with our cannon and preparing to switch to canister. Might be best not to try and kill off all their cannons. Looks like a surprisingly organized attack by the enemy. I think we're gonna hold fire actually now and switch to canister. The North Carolina Riflemen are just about to come in within range. And I think we're gonna angle you a little. Okay, you can't fit because there's impassable terrain. Right, hold your position then. They're gonna come straight at us there. And a canister ripping through, taking 40 men out of that line. Okay, it looks like they're preparing to fire. So we will return fire. We lost 4 men out of the battery, which means they're aiming for the battery, which I certainly do not like. So we're losing men out of the battery. They are moving position now, so it's not too bad. Let's see if we can... We'll have to go in front of the house here. And then I think these two will move out like so. And then fire at will. Ooh, they're coming close here. I have these guys still waiting to fire. Lord Dunmore's Ethiopians, and now a British line will have to open fire at this point. Lord Dunmore's Ethiopians. What are you guys doing? Why are you not firing? Oh, flank shot. Get those guns turned on the enemy at once, and we will break this regiment within seconds. Right, we've already got North Carolina riflemen retreating. I want to see that canister. I think that was a bit of canister. Sustained fire from the top of the hill is sending this British regiment away. Now switch over to fire on the Dunmore unit, and that took a big swath out of them as well. The British line and the Black Watch. I'm gonna set the Dragoons ready to go right at this one, and you will kind of turn to face them. The Cannoli, the Colonial Regiment.
Hey Tony, the British are coming.
Right. I think we need to advance on this one. We're not doing that much damage to him. Okay, this one can't really because of the impassable terrain. But that one certainly can. Alright, I'm gonna tell you to pick your targets at will. Right, this one's retreating. But do I dare? They've lost a frontal charge, I don't know. Well, oh, as these guys are retreating through, they're causing confusion among the Highland soldiers. Charge for freedom, gentlemen! We'll quickly go through that unit and charge on to the British regiment. Right, Indians will advance. The Colonial Infantry or Militia will advance. These units will now... oh, we can't really go down the hill, but we'll try to. And you will continue after that one. There's still British units on the field. North Carolina riflemen and some British line over there. I want you to switch to fire on this one. One thing that I do note is that we are running out of ammo on a lot of units, and I don't think we've actually fought for that long. Right, turn out of the forest and see if you can't sweep these guys away. Hold your fire, switch to round shot and open fire. Right, British line is back on this side. They're forming square. Let's gain ground, fire devastating volleys at close range and destroy them, and then the rest will continue a general advance as the Moylan Dragoons is just routing all the British troops here, forcing them away, cutting them down as we go. But I don't want to take on the entrenched position, and then there's lots of enemy cavalry out there, so I don't want to lose the unit. We're going to retreat. Oh! They're moving into line over here. Let's fire before they do. A British line did. They were able to return fire, but we fired first, and we were able to send them away. However, the British Queen's Hussars. Here comes the good fact that we have been able to develop square. It's a bit strange though that Okay, the square might certainly not work. The Moylan Dragoons should be able to fire, I hope, and then this Minutemen might fire. The thing is, the unit is more or less lost. Yeah. Even though we formed square, that didn't do much. The Queen's Rangers Hussars rode straight through it, and unless we're able to stop them, looks like they're gonna get another veteran Minutemen over there. Also, I realize we've marched a little bit too ahead of ourselves over here. Oh, they're gonna go for the Moylan Dragoons. We marched a bit too close to the British North Carolina Riflemen. Let's see if we can get the Native Americans to come to a position over there. Oh, I told you not to fire, did I? I do believe the irregular or the Native Americans can fire from concealed position once in woodland area. Right, move out on the flank. You can drop your square, go to the side over there. You can follow. We should win just because we have the numbers. We're planting round shots towards that battery, and it's just Dunmore's Ethiopians that are left. They do have an entrenched position. Not sure why I have a hard time saying that. Once the North Carolinians are moved away, we can move up to the stone wall. We're about to get charged over here. Form square, if you please. We might get overrun there. I'm surprised the Moylan Dragoons have not been able to deal with the Queen's Hussars. They fight on very hard against our men. Let's see, it's not going as well for the British bodyguard. But then again, they just snagged onto the square. They didn't actually fully, properly attack it. If I bring up this Minutemen unit, he should be able to slaughter it with such close fire. Right, the enemy cannon is gone. I want to land some cannon shots, if you can, right through there. Bouncing through that. Yep, that sent them away. Right. Aim for the Ethiopians. The North Carolinas are holding very strong for King and Country. And for some reason they're not yielding. That took a lot to force the North Carolinas away. But with them gone, I can now move up and we can lay some professional fire down upon Lord Dunmore. We're gonna move into the flank over there. The Native Americans, we need to get better position, so I think we're gonna go there in among the houses. Moylan Dragoons will make a sweep around there and then ride the enemy down. And we can have you actually go in the open. And then we'll put down as much cannon fire towards these guys as possible. I do realize one thing that we do have to keep in mind is that it looks as though... Oh, they're running. They decide to run. As they charged out to meet us, I'm gonna have to ride down as many of these as possible because we're gonna have to fight them again to actually take control of the town. So we want to ride down as many of these as possible. We're gonna ride down that one first. But I think this is enough for you guys. You don't have to watch me ride all of these down. So we'll jump back to the campaign map. And here we have the statistics of the battle. We deployed 17... We should have deployed just a few more. I think we should have deployed... what? An extra 4 men, I think. So we had deployed 1776. But in this case we deployed 1772 men, where which we lost 507. So that's quite a high loss, almost 1/3. It still leaves a sizable force of 1,265 men. The British deployed quite a lot more than us. About, 600 men more than us. 2,464, where in which they lost 1,000, almost 1,500. Their force remains still quite equal to us with 1,000 men. I do think, though, because they're split over so many units that are broken up and so forth, that it's not like a really great force that we're gonna come up against. And then if we go over to see who killed the most, Moylan Dragoons, of course, riding down a lot of enemies. Now they took quite a heavy casualty fighting those Queen's Rangers. Queen's Hussar Rangers or something like that. Queen's Rangers, Hussars, or just Queen's Hussars. Took quite a high loss, almost 50%. Cannons took a little bit of loss, but then again they killed a lot of enemies. Some of that, especially that flank fire canister, I think did a lot, but also these seems that the cannonballs are taking out a lot. Veteran Minutemen are certainly becoming veteran at this point. They're proving really useful, although it seems as though you run out of bullets pretty quickly. So I think as the battles get bigger and bigger, we might very well see us at a disadvantage, because I do think the British will have a straight advantage in melee, but we should probably actually check that out. Militiamen, we have a higher attack value than the average British infantry, which has 6. But the British have not an insane, but a very high melee defense, 16, which is like at least almost, that's 9 points more than our troops. So that's like twice, more than twice in melee defense. So we should be careful to go ahead and attack them in melee. Does it actually say ammunition 15? Yeah, I think normally you have 30, don't you? For Empire. So I think that's what's causing the problem there. We'll advance these guys as close as we can, and then George Washington will lay siege to the place. 1,500 men, because they get that extra militia garrison of 300 men. But you can see most of their units are kind of broken down and wary of battle. This one actually gained a chevron. Could be that North Carolina rifleman that held on so long. Given the time of the episode, though, I think we're gonna end it here. But this one will be continued upon next time. And it looks like I might actually have to play this one just because otherwise it might very well... You know what, let's just see if they demand surrender. Nope. Also, we should definitely start already to replenish these troops. We ran out of all our cash, so we couldn't replenish all of them. So next time, I think we'll continue here, fighting this one. And then we'll see about this one. Got some valuable lessons out of this fight. We need to check the ammo value because it's only 15 shots. Some of these though have 20. Pennsylvania Riflemen. And the 3rd Battalion Philadelphia Associate Light Infantry. And then some other... The morale of these, I don't know why it's so bloody low. 3 is incredibly low. I also just noticed Nathaniel Greene has 6. That's pretty poor. George Washington must have... Yeah, he's a 9. But yeah, there we have that. So I hope you guys enjoy it so far. And hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.